So one of the things that I'm very glad this show explores is the passive bystander effect, by which, quote unquote, like well-intentioned people watch horrible things happen but do nothing to intervene, and then also adopt a sort of acceptance that kind of becomes complicity. So in this instance, I'm talking about Meep Geese's best friend on the show, Tess, who's portrayed brilliantly by Eleanor Tomlinson. I should also note that I've only seen the first 2 episodes. There's only 4 that have been released thus far, and I believe there's 6 total as it's a miniseries. So perhaps Tess has a redemptive arc that I have not watched yet, but I still think the intent of how they portrayed her in episodes 1 and 2 really brings this point home. When we first meet Tess, her and Meep are kind of just carefree young best friends who don't really have like that many concrete goals in life. Because they're young, they're still figuring it out. They spend a lot of time like drinking and partying at nightclubs, just really enjoying their youth. And it appears that Tess comes from some sort of money. She's out of the country for a month with her new beau. And I believe that he's the one that is like, comes from money and is funding the trip. But during her absence, Meep falls in love with Jan. They get married in a very small private ceremony. She's also started this job, which she's like very dedicated to. Otto Frank and his family. Opekta, which is the jam making business. When she returns, Tess is really on the defensive. She's like, I can't believe you got married like while I was out of town. Like you couldn't have waited. She also doesn't understand why she works so much or why she takes her job so seriously. I should note this is something that all rich people don't understand, but Meep really takes it all in stride. She doesn't really question the foundation of their friendship until something happens that is so horrifying and indicative of passive acceptance of violence and cruelty. It's a really quick moment that would be easy to miss, but it's packed with so much. So her and Tess are walking down the street in Amsterdam. They pass an ice cream shop that's boarded up and closed, and the owner, who is Jewish, his identity is painted on, and Meep's like, what happened? And Tess tells her the story and says the officers took him out and they took his life, and Meep naturally is horrified. And then Tess says, but couldn't he have just, operated a ice cream shop in a Jewish neighborhood? And it's a really quick exchange, but it just shows how so many people thought back then. How so many people, as these horrific laws were being written that subjugated and enabled the mass violence against a minority. So many people were like, well, why can't they just follow the law? And, Tess is really positioned as just this happy-go-lucky nice person. And Meep starts to think, how could my kind best friend think something so evil, something so horrible? She goes home and she picks a fight because she's just so angry with Jan, her husband, who is normally they're all sunshine and rainbows. It's the first time we see them fighting. His response is a little bit dull and she's like, what's wrong with you? He's like, why do you think I'm suddenly callous and indifferent? Of course I'm on your side with this. I think it really prepares her to say yes to Otto when he asks.